In one of the episodes, I elaborated upon the navigational dimension and the navigational signs as recorded in the Ramayana. So, in this session, let us know some more about the navigational aspect and how the ocean bridge was built by Nala, the architect. Bharata returned from the Kekaya country along with his brother Shatrughna, and it took him 7 days. Then he came to know of the whole incident that Rama has been sent to 14 years of forest life by Dasharatha, his father. He immediately decided to reach Rama and his party and hand over the kingdom. So he, Bharata, along with the royal queens Kausalya, Sumitra and other women, the royal queens, the sages and a huge army, because he was worried that Rama may be affected in the forest by demons and other wild animals. So he came with a huge army and they planned to meet Rama, who had crossed the Ganges river, the Yamuna river and staying in Chitrakuta. So he came on the banks of the Ganges river, met Guha like Rama, the hunter king, and he requested Guha to give him ships. So, with the support of several ships, he wanted to cross the Ganges river. So, Guha called all his ministers, all his relatives and navigators to bring in 500 ships to carry on the merchandise, the sailors, the people and so on. They brought 500 ships along with a few special types of ships which were in the form of swastika. So they were decorated with bells and flags. So the wind was blowing pleasantly in those massive ships as there were many windows. They were very attractive, strong and formidable in nature. Guha brought an exclusive ship for Bharata, the royal queens and the sages and the Brahmins, which was in the shape of a swastika. Swastika Vigneyam. And woolen rug white woolen rug had been placed upon it on the floor of that ship. Maybe the fur of yak, the animal found in Himalaya as well as that of Nepal. The ship was embellished with small bells and jingling sound. Bharata, Shatrughna, Kausalya, Sumitra, other royal women, chief priest Vasishtha and other foremost Brahmins and royal attendants sat in that ship. Then the essential items and merchandise were loaded onto that ship, to quote from the Ayodhya Kanda. Gangam tu naubhir bahvid dasha santarayantu naha uttishtata prabudyadhvam bhadramastucha vasada nava samanukarshadhvam tarayishyama vahinim te tatokta samuthaya tvarita rajashasanat panchanavam shatanyasu samaninyus samantatahasi panchanavam shata pancha 5 into 100 500 Anya swastika vigneya. Apart from these 500, there are other special ships in the form of swastika. Mahagantha Varaha Shobhamana Patakabhir Yuktavata Susamhataha. And the ships had large masts, see, Patakabhihi, and were navigated by sailors, Dasha and Karnadharas. And some ships had women, horses, and some other ships had expensive chariots, palanquin, bullocks and camels. Then imagine the size of the ship built by Guha in those days. They crossed the Ganges river without the present mechanical electrical ones, all manned by people. River and offloaded the people and commodities and returned. While returning back to the Ganges, the sailors stopped in the midst of the Ganges river and exhibited a sportive game called Khanda Chitra. Chitra means fascinating, attractive, with festoons, balloons, etc. Khanda means in different portions. Maybe it was a sporting game played by sailors and navigators using their ships. Some elephant trainers led the elephants across the river. The elephants appear like massive mountains with wings. Some soldiers took the boats Nauhu and rafts Plava. Some soldiers held the pots in their hands and swam in the river. All of them reached the forest of Prayaga immediately after sunrise. Now it is called Prayagraj. So, to quote the original verses, Tata Swastika Vigneyam Pandu Kambala Samvrutam, see white woolen rug, Sanandi Ghosham Kalyanim Guho Navam Upaharat Tam Aruroha Bharataha Shatrughnaschya Mahayashaha Kausalyacha Sumitracha Yaschanya Rajayoshitaha Purohitascha Tatpurvam Guravo Brahmanascha Ye Anantaram Rajadaraha Tataiva Shakatapanaha Avasamadipayata Tirtam Chapyavagahayatam Bhandani Chadadananam Goshastri Divamasprishat. See? Tasmagatva Paramtiram Avaropyachatam Janam Nivritta Kanda Chitrani Kriyante Dashabandhubihi. So, that way we find there is a powerful navigational tradition during the Ramayana times. Then let us see, when Rama, Lakshmana and the entire Vanara army, the monkey army, reached the southern part of India, the southern part of the peninsula, in order to reach Lanka, they had to cross that mighty Indian Ocean. At that time, they saw how big the ocean was. Then the king of ocean came, saluted to Rama and said, please use the services of Nala, the monkey leader who is here, who is the son of Vishwakarma, the divine architect. Nala had received the knowledge of ocean building, the bridge building and building of bridges, small and big, from his father, and specialized in this architecture of ship building, boat building, then bridge building technology. So he suggested that Nala was capable of building ocean bridges, called the Samudra Setu. Later it was called Rama Setu or even Nala Setu, long lasting. So Nala, at the behest of Rama, decided to build the bridge from the southern part of the South India to Sri Lanka, to the banks of the Sri Lanka country. And he directed the monkeys who were there, who were in lakhs and lakhs, who were in crores, and leaders of the monkeys to bring the trunk and the branches of the massive trees, massive boulders and rocks from the nearby forests. And what were the trees used for building the bridge apart from massive boulders and rocks which they were lifted by monkeys and brought into that place? The trees used were around 14 species. They were Sala, sal tree, Ashwakarna, a type of tree, Dhava, a type of tree, Vamsha, bamboo, Kutaja, tellicherry bark, Arjuna, Terminalia arjuna, Tala, palmyra, Tilaka, Venda, Landia, exerta, Chinisha, long-lived white tree, Eugenia, Ogeaniasis, Bilva, bale, Saptaparana, dick bark, Dita bark, Karnikara, mountain lotus, Chuta, mango, Ashoka, Sarika indica, Dadima, pomegranate, Narikela, coconut, Nibhita, palm, Bakula, Suriname medlar, and Khadira, black cashew. So the best of the monkeys, they brought all these branches of the trees themselves, uprooted and placed it on the bridge. So now the bridge building begins. The best of the monkeys held the threads, sutra, and measured the ocean for 100 yojanas. 1 yojana in Sanskrit is 12 kilometers, and for making the bridge in a straight line without a crooked one. Nala the architect started constructing the bridge, which was 10 yojanas in breadth and 100 yojanas in length. Well, that means 120 kilometers in breadth and 1200 kilometers long. Some monkeys were holding the measuring rod as our civil engineers hold it, called dandam. Some other monkeys were acting as supervisors, adhikshakas, by waving the staff. Some of them were examining the ups and the downs of the bridges. Once the bridge was built, the surface was covered with grass, ushira grass, and wood. So these monkeys, on the first day, they built the bridge up to 14 yojanas. Second day, another 20 yojanas in length. Third day, additional 21 yojanas. Fourth day, 22 yojanas. And on the fifth day, they completed the bridge building by adding 23 yojanas and joined this bridge with Suela mountain, which is situated on the boundaries of the Lanka city. So, to quote the original verses here from the Yuddhakanda, very interesting to see. Tenaganna sankashaha shakamruga ganarshabaha bhavanjur vanaras tatra prachakarshyuscha sagaram te salaischa shvakarnaischa dhavair vamshaischa vanaraha kutajair anuja arjunaistalaihi tilakais tinishairapi bilvaischa saptaparanaischa karnikaraischa pushpitaihi chutaischa shokavrikshaischa sagaram samapurayan samulanscha vibulanscha padapan harisattamaha. See, then they held it. Dashayojana vistaram shatayojana mayatam nalaha chakre maha setum madhye nada nadipatehe. See, very clearly mentioned that the Nala built the great bridge in the center of the ocean from this end to that end. And satata kriyate setuhu vanarair ghora karmibihi danda nanye pragrinhanti vichinvanti tatapare. As he was building the bridge, were holding the rods, were holding the measuring rods, they were holding the threads and measuring it. Vanara shatashastatra ramasyagna purassaraha megavai parvatagraischa trunyai kashtair babandire. See, so they built it finally. And how did this bridge look? The path of the Swati star in the sky. The gods, the semi-gods, the yakshas, rakshas, gandharvas, kinnaras, kimpurushas, great sages had assembled in the firmament of the sky to see this formidable bridge built by Nala, called Nalasetu. So it was called Nalasetu also. Sanalena Krutasetu Sagare Makaralaye. See? So they saw this, and the bridge was very broad, firm, even in nature, without any downtowns, without any fissures, and appeared like the parting of the hair or the simanta of goddess Bhudevi's head. That's how it appeared. Ashobhata Mahasetuhu Simanta Iva Sagare. Imagine the friends, imagine the lakhs and lakhs of monkeys involved in building that massive bridge in 5 days. Now I am going, whether it is true or wrong, did they really build the Rama Setu or the Nala Setu or the Samudra Setu? So I would like to quote the research findings done by the scientists of National Aeronautic and Space Administration, America, through their INSAT images. I quote, "The debate whether Rama Setu or Adam's Bridge, as it is known globally, existed has been given a fresh life after Discovery Communications owned Science Channel aired a promo providing scientific evidence to a man-made bridge between India and Sri Lanka. The bridge, which stretches for 30 miles, means 48 kilometers, has been a matter of controversy, and in 2007, the then Union Minister of State, Kapil Sibal, argued that there is no scientific evidence to prove that Ramasetu is man-made. However, he also said that the faith of the people should be respected. On the contrary, the investigations of the team, the American team, aired on the Science Channel of the Discovery Channel in a show called What on Earth, in an episode called Ancient Land Bridge, explained thus. The promo, aired by the Science Channel, used satellite imagery from NASA, USA and other pieces of evidence to prove the existence of Ramasetu. The promo explains that the rocks connecting India and Sri Lanka are sitting on a sandbar, also known as a shovel, and the investigators believe that the sandbar is natural, but the stones sitting on top of that sandbar are not. The promo features Dr. Alan Lester, a renowned geologist, who says that there are Hindu legends and that Lord Rama placed a bridge here connecting India to Sri Lanka. He further adds, there are stones that have been brought from afar and set on top of Sandbar Island chain. The string of pearl, as one investigator puts it, connects Dhanushkoti in India, near Ramnad in South India, with Mannar Island in Sri Lanka. To ascertain the legitimacy of the findings, the researchers used techniques to date the sand and the stones. An archaeologist featuring the promo, Chelsea Rose, says the rocks on top of the sand actually predate the sand. Scientific analysis reveals, claimed the promo, that the rocks are 7,000 years old, but the sand is only 4,000 years old. The promo dates the construction of Ramasetu sometimes 5,000 years ago and also called it a superhuman achievement. The Yuddhakanda of Ramayana says, I unquote, the Yuddhakanda of Ramayana says that Samudra Setu or Nala Setu or Rama Setu was 100 yojanas long, which means 1200 kilometers, but NASA research shows that it is only 48 kilometers. From Dhanushkodi to Ramnath district in South India to Mannar Island in Sri Lanka. Hence, we have to allow some exaggerated description while mentioning about bridge construction in the epic, because it is the imagination of the poet. So this summarizes that there was a ocean building technology, ocean bridge building technology during the Ramayana times. Namaskar, Dhanyavad.
I extend my grateful thanks to Professor M.K. Sridhar sir for bringing a beautiful insight to navigation and engineering techniques in Ramayana. Tomorrow we'll come up with another speaker and a new topic. Namaste.